It is Tuesday and time for Elko Live today in advance of the regular Elko City Council meeting. March has been a long month, Jan, and you've got a kind of a busy little agenda in front of us today.
We do. It kind of crept up on us, and we have kind of a big agenda today and a lot of items to discuss.
So we'll go forward looking over in advance of the regular meeting that opens at 4 o'clock today. Hey, I did want to give a shout out, though, to the California Trails Advisory Board meeting. They're going to be meeting at 2 o'clock this afternoon at City Hall.
Great, yes.
So, kind of snuck that one in there.
They snuck that past me, I'm not going to lie. So, that'll be great. See what's going on there.
Yeah, and this is posted by our Parks and Recreation Director, James Wiley. And so what this means is they're kind of regrouping the National Historic California Immigrant Trail Interpretive Center Advisory Board, long title, but the city's been ramping up a little bit with sorry, I've got a little cough. They've been ramping up with some of this, like the Airport Advisory Board, right, Jan? I mean, regrouping and getting these committees back together.
Yes, absolutely we are. And so this will be another positive step towards that.
Yep, their meeting is at 2 o'clock this afternoon. That's for California Trail Advisory Board. And then we'll dive right into the regular council meeting. One of the opening agenda items is a letter opposing AB 81 that would exempt the state from the provisions of daylight saving time. And we're just starting to hear a lot of back and forth. It seems like people are kind of evenly divided, not so much about rolling the time forward or back, but where we should stick with.
I think that's the biggest debate, right? So I think that you're right. So that's kind of the debate, whether we stay with daylight savings time or we stay with standard time. We're just looking at, in this letter, so really what that is we already did a letter for AB 81, and this is for a Senate bill number 94.
Thank you.
It's exactly the same theory, same thing. And I'm also on the Flight Alliance of Northeastern Nevada board, and we visited about this a little bit with that board and the input of air planners and our consultant there. But his take, which was very, very informative, was think about if we stayed on standard and Utah went to daylight savings time and you left Elko and flew to Salt Lake, that'd be 3 hours later. So you'd have a 1 hour flight and then 2 hours later. And so some of those logistics really don't make sense. We would be 2 hours different than Utah, Idaho, and Oregon. And so, you take a trip to Oregon and you're going to lose 2 hours of your life for the weekend or whatever. So obviously when you come back, you get it back. But it could be problematic for the planes as well. And then also, we own a golf course. And in the summertime, that extra hour of light is very important for the golf course. I think there are a lot of people that play golf after work. And the window for that playing after work would be very short if it got dark at 7:30 rather than 8:30. So anyway, we have I think when it comes to the city of Elko, it's probably not a positive change to stay on standard time. But you're right, there's a lot of debate to be had.
Well, and those are unintended consequences, surely, and haven't heard a lot of rumble about this at the legislative session. Hopefully some of these issues are surfacing for those lawmakers as well, and they'll just maybe quietly set it aside for now until, as a region or Western United States, or, we decide what's best, because it really should be decided that way.
Absolutely, I agree. And it seems like as you get into it, I think this happens a lot in history. You go, so this is why they did it, right? So there's a lot of different reasons on both sides why to have standard time and why to have daylight savings time, and so maybe that is why we have both.
All right.
I don't know.
Well, thank you for the explanation, Jan. Jan Baum is our Elko City Manager, our guest today, and for the regular City Council meeting that will open at 4 o'clock today. There's also going to be an updated presentation from the Director of Fish, Friends and Service Helping. Jennifer Koopman was on the radio Friday with Joe Doucette as they were talking about a fundraiser they have coming up Saturday for Fish, which is a fly fishing film tour at GBC Saturday night.
Well, how fun is that? I think I saw it on your billboard here.
Perfect.
So that's great.
Yeah, but we know that she has been working so hard, along with a bunch of other volunteers and friends, to really right the ship, I guess, if you will, at Fish and keep the contributions coming in.
Right. I think that she's done an amazing job. And so we'll be interested to hear the update. And so, so last time she was here, I believe that she was in the position like 8 days or something. And so it's now been a month and a half or so. And so I look forward to hearing her update.
That'll be great. 4 o'clock today. You can be there in person or follow along online. Now, the budget presentation, Jan, this is a little, there's some consternation over declining sales and use tax in the city. And it just seems hard to understand. Gold is booming. It's at more than $3,000 an ounce, an absolute record high.
Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. So there's some issues going on with sales tax at the state level. And apparently they implemented a new software system. And so we spent some time on the phone with the state on Friday. Julie and I did, kind of trying to figure out what's going on with our sales tax. And I don't know if this makes it better or worse, but every entity, I believe, county and municipality in the state is having the same issue. There are some issues with their new software. And so they're having some difficulty figuring out where the sales tax is and getting it to the municipalities. And so I believe that we've been very patient, and our sales tax in January, which was for November, was half of what we expected. And now year to date, we're down, I believe, 13.5%. And like you said, it doesn't make sense. We expected maybe a little bit of a dip just because Sandvik has finished up, and that was a huge project in our community. And the temple is also finishing up. So we anticipated a small dip this year and maybe a flattening or a small dip next year, but nothing that would prepare us for a 13.5% decline. But after I spent a little time on a call yesterday with the League of Cities, and it appears it's going on all over the state. And they're trying, and then we spent some time on the phone with the state themselves, and they're trying to figure it all out. And so I'm hopeful that they will. So our budget was difficult to estimate this year, and we want to be a little conservative, because if the money doesn't come in, we can't spend money we don't have. And so the budget doesn't look great right now, and we're hoping that more answers will come in as time goes. So the budget presentation today is a workshop. Then the next meeting, it'll be a very similar presentation, but that will be our tentative budget that will need to go to the state. And then we have until the middle of May for our final budget. So we're hopeful that that the sales tax information will be straightened out a little bit by then. So sales tax is about 69% of our budget, or 65%. It's right in there. And so if a dip like that really makes a big difference to the city of Elko. And then at the same time, we have mandates that come down from the state, like the PERS rate has increased considerably. And those are things that we can't choose to say yes or no to. We obviously just have to pay those. And so when you have large increases, like an 8% increase for public safety, and then a large decrease to your sales tax, it's just concerning.
Right. And we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars, right, Jan? I don't know if you have sort of a running total in your...
Tens of thousands of dollars for sales tax or for the PERS?
Well, and we can divide those up. PERS is the Public Employees Retirement System, right? And so, yeah, the financial impact of that might be.
Yeah, so Julie has some information here that let's see. So for our general fund, the PERS expenditure this year is 5.5 million. And so it's 18% of our expenditures. And that's an increase this year of like 8.75% for our regular members and 17.5% for our public safety, which are our police and fire. So yeah, it's a lot of money, and currently I would say that we're nearing 2 million in sales tax that we're down because of this. I don't know where it is.
Because we don't know, right? I guess it's because so many people are working on it, like Jan Baum, who is the former financial services director for the city. So she knows where to look. She knows the questions to ask alongside Julie. You guys are a great team bird dogging this. But we won't let the money go. We're going to make the state accountable for it.
Absolutely. And we're hoping, and maybe this is a message to some of our filers out there. If the new system is confusing and you don't know how to file or you're having trouble filing, you're more than welcome to get a hold of us at the city, and we can get a hold of people at the state or put you in contact with the right people or give you some direction on how to fill it out. I haven't done it myself, but I can figure it out. I have a feeling. And so if you're having trouble filing or paying or anything with the new system, please reach out and we can definitely help you figure that out.
Yeah, we know that the county, the treasurer's office still recovering from the impacts of legislation that changed the distribution of some taxes. And so it's something we can get through as a community, but don't just let it weigh you down. Get some help. Reach out.
Absolutely. Reach out if you're confused or need help, and we'll point you in the right direction or just help you out.
Well, thanks for the confident point in the right direction, as you said, Jan, for the help on that. We don't want people to feel overwhelmed or get discouraged. The city's going through the same thing right now. So we could talk for a half an hour about that, but we won't because there's nothing we can do to change it. So everybody's on the same page.
Absolutely.
So moving on, looking over the other items on the agenda today. Oh, yes, there's the issue of unpaid room taxes by the Shiloh Inn, which is located on the west side of town, I guess you could say, in the Rayleigh shop. Yeah, northwest. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, over there by the Rayleigh Shopping Center. And so the problem that we're having right now with the Shiloh Inn is they are a motel, obviously hotel, and every night that somebody stays with them as a guest, then they collect transient lodging tax. And that transient lodging tax is accumulated each month and reported to the city and paid to the city. And unfortunately, the Shiloh Inn has not been paying their transient lodging tax. And so they're well over 6 months in arrears. And so we've been taking some legal action. Our city attorney, sent the Shiloh Inn a demand letter earlier in the year, and also filed a tax lien with the county. And and then our next step will be to work on the possibility of canceling or taking away their business license. And so we thought it would be good for the city council to be informed about this situation, and also the public. It's a significant impact if the Shiloh Inn were not doing business. I don't know how many rooms, but it's at least 2 or 3 story property, I think. So. Absolutely. I think they have quite a few rooms. I should have brought that. I'm sure we have those statistics, but I don't know how many rooms they have, but I do believe that, so they definitely have an impact on our community, and especially as, Mine Expo is coming upon us, and graduation and just all of the things that we have in the summer. I'm sure that, it wouldn't be good if we didn't have that motel. So I'm hopeful that they will respond and that we can get going forward. And so the transient lodging tax, that goes to the recreation fund.
Okay, so really important, again, follow up on that. That'll be on this afternoon's agenda when the City Council meets at 4 o'clock today. And by the way, the city did send a demand letter in January and also recorded a notice of a tax lien with the county recorder. So those are important documents, and the city can move forward if necessary. But hopefully folks will come forward. This ties in, with some other news we'll be talking about with the ECVA. And so I think that we won't jump ahead just yet. But I did want to ask one question, and it's not on the agenda, Jan, but it has come up in conversation. So we used to have a hoteliers lodging committee, right, through the ECVA. Maybe that was before you.
That was before me.
And then they merged it into another committee with the ECVA. But I do think I'm hearing in the community from some people who are small hoteliers that they're feeling pinched by not only just general economic strain, but by, we have a lot of larger franchise properties now, but they're also feeling pinched by the phenomenon, the VRBOs, vacation rental by owners. And does the city collect room taxes on those properties?
Yes, so the intention is they are just like motels. And so if somebody is operating a VRBO or an Airbnb, that is a short-term rental. And so a short-term rental is required or, falls under the hotelier tax code. And yes, they should be collecting, I believe it's 15% room tax on those nights or on those stays, and then submitting those to the city of Elko. And so if anybody does have a short-term rental like that, then if they could call the city of Elko and register those, that would be good. So I want to say 4 months ago or so, Annette put together a list of all that she could find of these short-term rentals and sent out letters, informative letters telling people, because some people don't understand or know that they're supposed to pay room tax on these short-term rental nights. And so she did send out some informative letters on those. And so I think that did produce some of them to call and register. I believe if you have 3 or more, then you also need a business license. But anyway, yes, so those should be, and it is an unfair advantage if you have one of those in the city of Elko and, the hotelier has to pay the room tax, but the short-term rental does not. So for sure, yes, those are supposed to be paying room tax.
All right. Thanks, Jan. Jan Baum is our city manager. If you have any questions about that, you can reach out to the city clerk, Annette Robinson, and she'll give you all the details. And I'm sure she can just email you any of the ordinance that applies or what we just talked about. So.
Absolutely. She has all of that available.
Perfect. Next up under personnel, some updating of position descriptions for not only the police captain, but assistant city manager, some other building officials and folks, and this is all a part of the classification study?
Yes. So during the year of fiscal year 2024 or 20, we accepted a class comp study that was done for all of the non-represented positions in the city of Elko. And Susie Schertz, our HR director, has been bringing those job descriptions to the city council. And so this is the next group of those. And so we're hopeful that the city council will accept those.
And the updated position descriptions accurately reflect the current duties and responsibilities of the positions, and it's all available online. You can go to the city's website, click on the agendas, and then you can click on the sections that are highlighted in blue have attachments, so it's really easy to find.
Great.
Yeah, all that. That's a great website.
Absolutely.
Moving on to new business, the city may approve a professional services agreement with Lombard Conrad Architects to design a new city hall facility.
Yes. So a couple months ago, We brought the results of our RFP, a request for professional services, to the City Council. We had several different architects put in for this job. And after interviews and reviewing all the RFPs, our recommendation to council was to move forward with Lombard Conrad, and they approved that recommendation. And so we negotiated a professional services agreement for the design services, and so this is what that is.
Well, that'll be exciting. That does include consideration of some sites. Kathy Laughlin, our city planner, talked about it when she was on the radio recently. I think she said there were 5 or so different considerations. The city might own 1 or 2 of the parcels, but...
Yes, exactly. And so that will be part of the process that they go through, is site selection as well as a preliminary design.
Great. Well, that's exciting and something that's been long in the works on behalf of the city. And also under new business, there are a couple of pieces of important legislation that are being handled by, in part, our local lawmaker, Assemblymember Bert Gurr, and that's AB 100 and then also AB 293. Both of these are really important to the future of air service here in Elko.
Absolutely. So AB 100 was introduced by Assemblyman Bert Gurr, which we're very thankful for. And this is a very similar bill to what was introduced last year. And the bill last year funded the state general, or the Nevada Air Service Development. Oh, wait, now I'm going to get messed up. So, that had 2 different funding sources in it. One was for small airports to help with their AIP grant funding matches, and the other one was for air service economic development. And so the Air Service Development Fund, our commission, was formed, but it was not funded last time, and so we're hoping that this year both of them will get funded. And air service in Nevada is a little lagging behind other states, and so it would be great to be able to do, an air service development study, so that the state could see exactly where our air service could be. And of course, the city of Elko would be part of that because of Elko Regional Airport. And a lot of what's behind this bill is it would be wonderful to create the intra-state triangle of traveling between Reno, Las Vegas, and Elko. So we're very much in support of this bill. And Bert Gurr reached out to us, and it will be heard at the Assembly Revenue Committee on April 4th.
Oh, that's great. Coming up next week. And Jim Foster, our airport manager, has been crucial in seeing that these pieces of legislation are being considered. He's an important part of this effort, and he's going to be speaking on it this afternoon during the regular council meeting. As you talked about AB 293, it might be more of a long shot submitted by the Nevada Aviation Association. It would establish a new department, and so people are reluctant, especially during uncertain times, to create new divisions. But this Governor's Office of Aerospace would be what provides our connectivity, or at least explores all the different options that we have in delivery services and air taxis. I mean, there's just so many things.
Absolutely. And I agree. I think this is kind of a long shot, but it was introduced by the Nevada Aviation Association. And it complements, I think, AB 100. They would go well together. And I agree. I can't say that our economy is into a downturn, but it is leveling off. And I think that there'll be reluctance to add a division. But I do think that there is some economic indicators out there that if an aerospace division was created, it would create enough economic development to pay for itself. But of course, you have to have the startup first. So anyway, so we're in support of this bill. And no matter how far it goes, it will be good to show some support.
So that's for both AB 293 and then AB 100. If anyone listening wants to generate some original remarks, that really does go a long way into, signaling to lawmakers that this is important to us. So if you're a Chamber of Commerce member, for example, anything you can do before that April 4th meeting, right?
Yes, so
okay.
Any support. And honestly, the website that has the bills, it's called a Nellis, Nelis website, has a lot of these bills. And there's a spot on there where you can just go and put your opinion, whether it be opposing or in support. And so that's an easier way to do it as well if you don't want to send a letter. So anyway, that's available as well.
All right. Go to the Nellis website. Jim Foster talked about that. That's important, Jan. Make sure that your unique original comments are heard, and those can be entered into the record as lawmakers consider that really important legislation. I mean, personally, I think it's more important than having the pecan punch as the state drink. I mean, that's how important I think it is, but let's hope for all of it, right?
Absolutely,
yeah.
right?
And we can all have a toast. Okay, so then we are looking at, we're moving on to, got my pages mixed up a little bit here. It is kind of a long agenda. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, this next one that is also an important consideration, Jan. This has to do with all the amazing work that Annette Kerr has done in getting the ECBA positioned in a positive financial way for the future.
Absolutely. She did an amazing job, and I think that... everybody is thankful that she got them over the hurdle of the balloon payment that didn't seem to make a lot of sense, and had some refinancing done for the ECBA. And so a couple years ago, I think it was late 2022, the City of Elko council people got together or in a meeting, I shouldn't say got together, in a meeting passed.
Oh, we knew what you meant, yeah.
Oh, my heavens. So in the meeting, they passed a new ordinance to specifically address the balloon payment. And since the balloon payment is now paid off or refinanced, we needed to, Annette came to our meeting last time and asked us to do an ordinance to change the code so that the balloon payment is no longer referenced, and that the room tax that is received for the ECBA is no longer reserved for the balloon payment. And so anyway, we try to address her concerns in this ordinance and changing the transient lodging tax allocation. And so I believe that what we have here addresses her concerns.
It will remove, as you said, certain deadlines that no longer apply, any reference to a balloon payment, which doesn't exist. And it also, which is really important, changes the payments to the Capital Improvement Fund to the Facility Expansion Fund, which means the ECVA can actually invest in its own facility and not pay rent on something that was also purchasing. So
absolutely,
like you said, that was just nonsense.
Absolutely. And I believe that her part of her presentation last time was that the refinance payments are being made out of the Facility Expansion Fund, and so that makes the most sense for the room tax to go there. And then in addition to paying the refinance mortgage or bond payments, they can also invest in their facility.
They do run a tight ship at ECVA. I think it's important to note that no portion of this money is used for salary or benefits.
Absolutely.
It's going into the facility, which is going to be celebrating 50 years. Next week is the party, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think we all have invites for that. I know I need to get the date. It's on my calendar, Annette, but we're all invited to a little reception to celebrate 50 years of the EC.
That's great, right?
Yes.
And we should celebrate that facility. So many of us, I don't think there's probably anybody in our community that has never been in that building.
Even the people who weren't a fan of it in the beginning, right?
Absolutely.
I know,
yes. You go there for so many different events, and they bring so many people into our community, and which in turn helps the hoteliers. And so, it's a great facility.
Thanks, Jan, for the updates. Again, heading into this afternoon's regular council meeting, California Trail Advisory meeting is at 2. And that's today, March 25th, and then followed by the regular council meeting at 4. And a lot of work ahead of you, but thank you for your careful leadership, Jan.
Oh, well,
I hope you feel like you've come a long way. You stepped into it, with big shoes with Curtis Calder's retirement, but he had so much confidence in you, and you have certainly shown that was, he was right on target.
You're so kind. And, we still miss Curtis and his leadership and his sense of humor.
Yeah, he did have that for sure.
For
Yes.
sure. And his history with the city of Elko, it meant a lot to him. And so, I was very humbled by his recommendation.
Oh, Jan, well, thanks again. You certainly have proven that you deserve that and much more to come. City Council meets at 4 o'clock today. Again, if you've been listening, you heard the various challenges, and leadership will have their work cut out for them on the Elko City Council. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, listeners, for joining us for Elko Live today here on KELK.